come in here and your analysis, of course. I will get back to you, Nikhil. But Adit, what do you make of Mamata Banerjee now refusing to resign? Was this something you expected, or has this been a pretty unprecedented move by her? You have various leaders of a party who have admitted defeat and conceded that if this is the mandate of the people, so be it. Mahua Moitra had posted something on Twitter I saw in the morning today. There are others who, of course, conceded defeat, but yet Mamata Banerjee refusing to resign in the manner that she did today. It was expected after the press conference she would tender resignation. M.K. Stalin has resigned in Tamil Nadu. Why isn't Mamata Banerjee resigning in West Bengal?
Uday, if you want the flat reality, it's predominantly because Mamata Banerjee is not a graceful leader, and she's certainly not a graceful loser. What she's trying to do is preserve her party from going into some sort of a disintegration. Because remember, these political startups, the Aam Aadmi Party, the TMC, don't really have a core ideology. They're not like the left, the communists, the Congress, or the BJP, which actually have a core ideology. Now, as a consequence, their downfall is going to be as quick and as swift as their rise was. Now, because of that, she's trying to posture. Everybody knows that nothing can stop from the transitioning from happening. But these are just formalities. These are political formalities which need to happen. And in a vibrant democracy like India, it is only mandated for a losing leader to actually go and gracefully accept the mandate of the people and then hand over the mandate to the incoming government. But that is what she's not doing, because she wants to delegitimize the entire process of the elections. She's trying to say that the election process didn't happen. Rather, it happened in an unscrupulous manner. And that basically questions the legitimacy of the election, the legitimacy of the Indian democracy. And that is a very, very dangerous trend, which I think the Congress is also getting entrapped in. You need to figure out whether you can't be selective about Bengal elections being unscrupulous and the elections in Kerala being completely fair and square. So this sort of duplicity, this sort of hypocrisy, I think is quite shameful. And I think the opposition parties also need to realize that, because this demonstrates a clear sort of disconnect with the ground politics. You've seen the videos come out from Calcutta and everywhere else in Bengal. People were in absolute jubilation. It was almost like the lid is off and the people are finally being able to express themselves. People were out on the road rejoicing, and that is the ground reality. Because people were done with these sort of atrocities of the last 15 years of the TMC government. It was ineptness, it was corruption, it was political violence. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. West Bengal is rated by any stretch of mile a state which is marred by highest number of political violence electorally, both pre-poll and post-poll. And TMC is over 65% involved in those pre-poll and post-poll violence. I mean, I'm not trying to give you the numbers. I'm sure everybody knows the numbers on what happened in 2021. Almost 300 BJP Karyakartas were killed. Even this year, 27th April, a 43-year-old Congress worker was killed to death by the TMC workers. So we know that political violence is a tool which has been used by the TMC. In addition, poll rigging, mass poll rigging. You know what they used to do? They used to apply wicks on the BJP and Congress buttons, so that when people would press these buttons, then come out of the election booth, they could smell them and they could beat them up and make sure that they're basically set an example to the rest of the voters to discourage them from voting for the opposition party. So that kind of mass rigging, that sort of poll booth management, we've seen that in 2021. So let's not be intellectually dishonest. Let's accept the verdict of the people. Even if you do change the numbers, according to the SIR, it doesn't translate to 50 seats. That's in excess of what would be required for the TMC to actually engineer any sort of victory claim. So we know this is political posturing, and I think let's be graceful and let Bengal move towards progress. The problem is she is now downright trying to demonstrate her streak of separatism, trying to dissuade and trying to engage in a Bengali nationalism which is separate to the Indian nationalism. This is a very dangerous tendency, and I think the people of India have called it out.
Okay, Nikhil Jain, yes.